Hello, everybody. Um, let's discuss this last part of chapter 3, which is the using functions and modules. Okay, so I'm going to use IDLE, which allows you to write multiple statements and you can run it as a script. It makes it much easier because you can go back and modify your statement, your instructions. So launch the IDLE. And I told you how to do that already. So, okay. Function. Let's look at what is a function. You already used several functions. A function, as I said, it's a name behind which there is a bunch of code. And it will accomplish a logical task. For example, this is a function, okay, print. And for any function, you must have the parentheses follow it, okay? So if you don't do anything, if you don't put anything, then it just print out an empty line. You know that, right? So a function must have a pair of parentheses after it. And within the parentheses is called argument. Argument is the value you use and the function will perform its task based on that value. So, okay. So now this hello is called an argument. It's a string. That means when you do print, you need to make a string, put a string there, right? So this will print out hello, and hello is the argument, okay? You understand that. So that is what a function is. A function is a name that can accomplish something. And how, you don't know. It's an abstraction. It's behind the scene and you don't have to know. Okay, so this is called an argument. And if you have multiple arguments, what do? As you remember, you separate them with comma, right? That's when you have multiple arguments. Okay, so this function will give you back a value, which is this string, right? It gives you back. So a function is a name behind which there is a segment of code that will perform and accomplish a logical task. And a function have arguments, and we call that arguments or parameters. It may have one or two, and it will give you, the function will perform the task and it may give you back the value. Let's look at this one. This is another function, round. It will round a number up or down. So this will give you 4, right? So, oh, I'm sorry. This will give you a 5. Okay, it's 0.56. So it will give you a 5. And so you see, this is the function name followed by a pair of parentheses. And within it, you have a number, a float. And that is the argument. So the argument will be performed on by the function. So the function will perform on this argument and make it to 5. And it gives you back the value, which is 5, right? And you can do this, print. I was going to use that, but this is much easier because it runs immediately. Okay, 4.34. And so what I'm doing, because round is a function, it accepts one argument and it returns a value. It gives you back a value. So what do you do with that value? You want to print it out. Let's see if this will work, okay? And it prints out 4, right? So in this case, this print is accepting a float, actually, not a string, a float. So you can see print accepts different types of arguments, right? Now it accepts a string, and here it accepts a float. And round also actually have a different version. So this is called the required argument. That means if you want me to round something, you must give me a number to round, right? Without a number, I cannot do anything. So that's called the required argument. But you can also have an optional argument. What is an optional argument? An optional argument here with this function is you can have it or you don't have to have it. So if you don't have it, it will just round it to the whole number. If you have it, okay, if I put 3 there, that means you want to round it to 3 decimal places. Let's see. Okay, so it gives you the 3 decimal places, and you can see that 8, because it's 8, it makes this 4 to 5, right? That 4, now it's 565, and you can change that. I cannot go back and change round. Oh, that's too much. Let me just do, right? And I can say 5, and oh, I may have done something wrong. Oh, no, I don't know. Let's see. Okay. And we will say 5. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. I think there it somehow okay. So here you can say it has 5. You can see it has 5 digits. So that's what a function is. A function is a name. It has a pair of parentheses. Within the parentheses, you have a required. You might have a required argument, and you may have some optional arguments. Okay, so this is the required argument, the first one. The second one is the optional. And this one, look at this print. It does not have any argument. That's why I said it might have a required argument. So it may have 0 or more arguments. Okay, and some of them may be optional. That is a function. Okay, let me see. And you can use the help function to look at how to use a function, actually. So help is a function, and then it needs a pair of parentheses, right? Within it, you give it a function, and it will tell you about it. So let's see. Help is a built-in function. Help on built-in function. Round, okay, in module bullet built-ins. So you will understand that gradually. So round, and that's the function name. This is the required argument, and this is the non-required optional argument. Okay, number of digits equals to none. That means it doesn't have to have 1, right? That is optional argument. Round the number to a given precision in decimal digits. So the return value is an integer if number of digits is omitted or none. Otherwise, the return value has the same type as the number. Number of digits may be negative. So this shows you how to use this function. So if you have a function, you don't know how to use it, you can do this, help, parentheses, and the function name. Okay, it will show you how to use it. Of course, can you just search on the web? Yes, you can Google it, right? Nowadays, when you learn something, it becomes so convenient because information is all around you. You just need to search for it. So, okay, that is the help part. Another function we can use is called abs, absolute value, okay? Absolute value. And it gives you the absolute value. These abs and round, they actually belong to a module called built-in. Okay, what is a module? A module is simply a group of functions that have the same, that not the same, but the similar purposes. It's a module. Okay, a group of functions. Because they have similar purposes, we put them together and we give it a name that is meaningful for that group. So, and this is a built-in, it's a module. Okay, we call it built-in because these functions you can use without doing any extra work. So you see, I did not do anything, and I can use print, I can use round, I can use abs. Okay, I can also do this, print, abs, right? And this will be the same number. So you can put this, because this function gives you a number back, gives you a value back, and you print it out. Okay, so you can also say print round abs, and right, we can do that. So this part is the absolute function, and now we want 2 digits, and this part is the round function, right? And then we need to close it to finish the print function. Okay, so if you look at it, we have 2 parentheses. So your parentheses must be paired correctly. Okay, this is the function of abs, right? But we are using it as the first argument of round. And this is the optional argument, okay? And this whole thing, because round gives you a number, that whole thing is used as an argument for print, okay? Let's see, right? So that's what that is, okay? So we just discussed modules. And once again, a module is simply a group of functions that have a similar purpose. And we gave that module a name. So the built-in module are the functions, include the functions that we use often, and we can just use them. We don't have to do anything extra. Well, there is another module that's called math. Okay, the math module has all the functions that are related to mathematical calculations. So to use math, you have to, it's not built in. It's not readily available. So you actually have to say import. That's a keyword, import math. And notice that this math is lowercase, okay? If you say math, it won't be able to run, right? It doesn't know what you are talking about. So you have to say math, lowercase, okay? And now the functions in math are available to you. One of the functions in math is called pi, not function, a constant actually. So if you say math pi, dot pi, it gives you, and notice this syntax, math dot, okay, pi. Okay, so that is how you use that. And that is the math function, the functions in math. And you can also do cosine, math.cosine. Okay, let's see. It gives you a number, right? So that's what a math function is. I'm going to clear this. Can I clear? Does it have clear? Okay, just it doesn't, huh? I'm going to stop and restart. Okay. I'm not using this right now. So, okay, let's restart. And we are using because this is much easier. I'm talking about individual statements, not a complete script yet. So that's that. Okay, you understand math. So math is a module in this, it's a module and it has a lot of functions. So if you want to use math, as I said, you have to import it. Otherwise, it's not available. Okay, so you have to import it. If you don't import it, see what it does. Math.py. Okay, it says, what are you talking about? I don't recognize this math.py because the math module is not readily available. So that's why it's not available. You have to say import math. And now you can say math.py. Okay, that's one thing. Another way to import is this. You can say from math import pi. What this means is you are importing just one or two things from math, not everything. So when you say this, you are importing everything. So all the functions in the math module are available to you. But here, you are saying, okay, I don't care about the others, just give me pi, make pi available. That's what that means. Okay, so I'm going to, let me see, let me pause. Okay, I found out how to do that. You go to shell and you restart shell. So it will clear everything you did. And so I want to do this to show you import math, no, from, okay, from math import pi, okay? And now you can do pi, right? You can say print round math dot pi. You can do that. Or you can simply do pi. Okay, because you already said this pi is from math, right? So you don't always have to say math.pi because you already said specifically pi. Okay, so you can do math.pi. Usually we use that. The reason is it gives you a special, a clear sense of where that variable come from. So, it's not defined. Oh, okay, okay. I cannot do this because I imported only this one little thing. I cannot do math.py. So that also illustrates a problem. The problem is if you just do this, okay, you know it's pi, but some people may not know where it comes from. That's why this is usually not as good or clear an indicator of where it comes from. So a better import statement is simply to say import math. Okay, and before we do that, I also want you to see, can we do this? And it will say, I cannot find cosine. It's not defined. The reason is we are only importing pi, not any other functions in the math module. So a better way to do this is import math. And now you can say math.pi, right? You can use it, and you can say math.cosine. Okay, so this is how you use the import statement. Okay, and I think, let me see, give me 1 minute. I want to stress the fact that print is a function, and what is another function? You can think of another function is input, right? Input, that is a function. And what is the argument for input? A string, enter, right? So that's a function also, okay? And another function is what? Int, that's a function. What does this function do? It gives you back a whole number, right? And another function is float. What does float do? Float gives you a float number. Okay, so it adds the 0 to it. And those are all functions. These functions are obviously in the built-in module. And so you can combine functions, and therefore you can say age is equal to, and we are combining the int function, right? And then we are using the input function. So what this does is the input function will allow the user to enter an input, and then you use that as an argument for int, the int function. And so the int function will take whatever the user enters and make it into an int. So here we are using this function call as an argument for int, and you can do that function after function, right? So that's a function, and I think that's it, everybody.